An extraordinary acknowledgement of failure by the president and his party. We are now 4.5 years into an economic recovery that Democrats keep telling us is getting better all the time. Yet the job market remains so weak, the jobless rate so high, that the president considers it an emergency. Upon taking office, the president and his party set two big goals. One was to revive the economy, the other to reform health care. The Obamacare mess tells us where we are on one. The call for further unemployment payments tells us where we are on the other.
There he is again. That was Brit on Special Report last night talking about the president's new push for extending unemployment insurance. Well, today we heard directly from the president as he argued that jobless benefits actually create jobs.
Unemployment insurance has been a vital economic lifeline. For a lot of people, it's the only source of income they've got to support their families. In fact, if we don't provide unemployment insurance, it makes it harder for them to find a job. Voting for unemployment insurance helps people and creates jobs. And voting against it does not.
Here are the numbers. Last recorded at 7% in November, but that does not count the millions in the unemployment, in a position of being unemployed, who have simply given up looking. Then you factor in the Americans who are working less than they would like to, underemployed, and you're looking at an underemployment rate of 13.2%. Chris Direwalt is our Fox News digital politics editor and host of Power Play on FoxNews.com Live. So the president took some ribbing online today for saying that unemployment benefits create jobs. But I think what he meant was, because the administration has made this point many times, that it gets people spending. It puts money in their pocket. They don't save it because they don't have a lot of dough. So they go out and they spend it, and that keeps people employed, and it keeps cash in the economy.
Well, why are we capping it at 99 weeks then? Shouldn't we just pay everybody all the time so that there's plenty of money?
Now you sound like the guy from Rolling Stone we talked about last night.
Right. I mean, you don't have to be a marijuana tourist to Colorado to think that that is a great idea. People say that. That's an idea. It exists. It, however, contravenes what the president says and much of what they have said in the past about how you get the economy going, which is to move people into middle-class jobs. So you can't pay people not to work and have it create jobs. So there is a little contradiction.
Well, the president
right?
wants these people to have jobs. I mean, he would like for them to have jobs, but they apparently can't get them. I mean, the people are out there trying to find jobs, not all of them, but millions of them trying to get jobs, and they can't get them. And so the question is, do we basically say, sorry you couldn't find any, oh well, or do we extend the unemployment benefits a little longer to help them in an economy that's not so hot for many?
Well, it's always just a little bit longer, right? That's what we've been doing since the panic of 2008, which is just a little longer. This emergency, this extraordinary relief, now 5, approaching 6 years, just a little bit longer every time. Let me submit something a little more cynical. It doesn't really matter what the president said today or what he said in the past, because for this White House, and this relates a little bit to what Secretary Gates, what his criticisms were of this president, is it doesn't really matter what you said before. It doesn't matter what you say now. What matters is how can Democrats hold on to 5 or keep the Republicans from winning more than 5 seats in the United States Senate this time. So say or do anything. If you like it, you can keep it. Say or do anything that you can in order to keep the Republicans at bay and keep the Senate in Democrat hands. If this is an administration that would allow those considerations to come into something like, say, the war in Afghanistan or security concerns, or whether or not to tell people that they could keep their insurance policies when they knew they could not, if that would come into those considerations, surely it comes into the consideration about talking about free money.
It plays into the income inequality narrative that the president has said openly he's going to be pushing as he's in his second term. It's interesting. We'll see how it plays out. They got the go-ahead. They got the 6 Republicans they needed in the Senate today, and we'll see how it goes from there. Chris, thank you.
You bet.